welcome back to They Did What, your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to go over a story titled, Girlfriend of 7 Years Cheated on Me. And shout out to Mr. Arkansas for sending this story. And guys, this story, like the title says, is about a guy. He's 25 years old. He's from somewhere over in Asia, not sure where, it doesn't matter, but it's not in the United States. And he is now kicking to the curb and blocking and being done with a girlfriend of 7 years after he found she was cheating on him, amongst many other things. And this story, guys, is a very important refresher I like to do from time to time about a guy who does everything wrong. About a guy who acts like a total mangina, has an unhealthy attachment to his girlfriend, and you can see how he literally, by his actions, pushes her away. And she, of course, does a lot of awful things, but eventually, finally in the end, after being just hurt so badly, humiliated, wakes up to reality and gets rid of her. And I can't stress enough through a situation like this that if you're in a relationship and your girl breaks up with you, as hard as it may be, as heartbreaking, and as long as you've been with her, the last thing you should ever do is beg and plead and cry and try to force her to stay. By crying and begging and all that. The best thing you can do is act like a man, even though you're hurting, and say, all right, best of luck, and that's that, and move on, and block her. Because you may actually be surprised that she may actually end up reaching out to you because you didn't act like a crybaby like she probably expected you to. If you act like a big baby and try to force things, sometimes they'll stay with you even though they want to break up with you, and then they'll milk you for everything it's worth. And this guy does just that. And he's an example of what not to do. And you got to watch these on occasion, guys, to reinforce that, especially if you're relationship guys. But again, as you go through this, guys, and learn what not to do, remember eventually he handles it right. And of course, she comes back. So it starts off, says here, in September of 2025, she approached me saying how she wanted to end things, how things weren't the same anymore, and due to having trouble with her mental health from the start of the year, and having realizations I wasn't who she wanted in her life anymore, and like an idiot, I begged her to stay and not leave. Smack! Never beg. Goodness sake. All you're doing by begging is reinforcing and justifying why she's breaking up with you in the first place. What you do is say, all right, well, it's been great, and you walk away and disappear. And she might be so shocked that you're actually walking away and ghosting her, she might be like, maybe he's not such a mangina that I thought he was. But eventually he learns. Eventually. My understanding back then was that I've been taking care of her financially and emotionally since the senior year of high school, and I've always been the kind of guy to overly spoil her all those years, and I've always been very loyal, and there was never a question of that because I deleted all my social media pages early in high school. Therefore, I made her my identity and someone I was sure I needed in my life because she made me happy and was beautiful. Smack, smack, smack. Goodness sake. Those are all things you don't do, by the way. Paying for everything. Okay, if you're going to delete your social media with other girls, is she deleting her social media with other guys? Probably not. He's doing all the things. He's buying her affection. Guys have to script constantly to learn. Now, due to me not letting her break up with me, she stayed as I promised to change and how I would be exactly who she wanted me to be. Smack! Good Lord. Stick around, guys. I know a lot of you are like, screw this, I'm out of here. There is something to learn from this painful read here, and he does eventually redeem himself. Goodness sake. October, November, December went by, and we weren't on the best terms, but in her words, we were still seeing if we could figure the relationship out. We fought, and she wanted to leave me again, but I begged her for one last chance. Smack! So, as you can probably imagine, while he's literally begging and whining and nagging her to stay, she's obviously looking elsewhere, like, fine, I'll take his money, whatever. In November, her birthday, I got her a huge bouquet of flowers that I do every year and gave her a $1,000 gift just to prove to her that I love her, even though I told her every day and that I was here to make the relationship work and treat her good. Smack! God, my shoulder's going to be sore tomorrow. $1,000 gift to prove how much he loves her. I think he's definitely proving it every waking chance he gets. This guy is annoying. This is definitely one of these times I wish I could, transport, like Nightcrawler and X-Men, teleport wherever the hell he is and just smack the shit out of him, whack him with... Nightcrawler could whack him with his tail. I'd whack him with my hands. Good God. Dude, wake up. No role model, nothing. Just a chick. You can replace her. Your whole identity in her? That's crazy. I don't blame her for wanting to dump this dude. As we were going through all this, she was still had my debit and credit cards on her Apple Pay and using it because I allowed her to, considering how long it's been, and want her to realize how I'm still taking care of her. Again, he's buying her affection. She's probably like, okay, I'll go to and buy it myself. What the hell? You hear that? Sounds like a speeder bike from Return of the Jedi just went by me. Waiting for some fucking Ewoks to pop out of nowhere here. Anyway, where was I? Apple Pay credit cards. Yeah, she's probably going out and buying herself $2,000 handbags and shoes and all that. January 2026. Okay, we're getting recent here. The new year hit me and I could not lose her. So I began therapy to work on the issues. She wanted to leave me over work to work with a therapist to process all the frustration I had over things between me and her. Yeah, you need therapy, man, but the right therapist. I made every change that she wanted me to. She always had an issue with me, overthinking through the years that something was going on behind my back. I was assuming that she was chatting with other guys, or posting things for attention and feeling the need to want or be seen by every guy. So, you heard he just said he was trying to work through his supposed insecurity issues of her doing things behind his back. Well, they're not insecurity if she's actually doing that. Or if she's giving you a reason to think she's doing that, why the hell are you still with her? Remember, guys, the problem is, and I said this in the beginning of the video here, this is what happens when guys develop attachments. They think they're in love. They're not in love. It's an unhealthy attachment, usually because they probably didn't get any love growing up from their moms or their dads, so therefore they got to find a relationship and become attached and try to force everything. Look what happens. Well, I got yelled at and told I was disgusting this past October because I had asked her if she was going to be loyal even while we were going through everything. I worked on all the issues with my therapist, finally letting go of my fears of being betrayed by her. I worked on giving her space throughout the day for her to focus on her own life instead of me feeling the need to communicate all day. Smack! She's one of those. One of these needy, clingy, texting her all the time, bombarding her with texts and calls and trying to get constant reassurance and everything. A total mangina. I bet you the therapist is probably throwing her Sigmund Freud book at him or something. I stopped feeling the need for assurance that she would betray me and chose to trust the time it had been in a relationship and how that would never happen. Then finally she told me on Valentine's Day, after I gave her another $400 bouquet of flowers, that I changed. She respected it so much and was really proud and felt secure with me. Bullshit. Oh yeah, a $400 bouquet of flowers. I mean, at least if you're going to spend $400, go out to an amazing, fantastic Michelin restaurant or something like that, and you can enjoy partaking in the meal. $400 on flowers are going to be dead in a few days or a week. What the hell's the matter with this guy? Oh my God. March 2026. Okay, here we are. 2 days ago, I got a call from a guy calling me from a temporary phone number. On one of those from an app like Text Now or Text Me, saying that my girlfriend was cheating on me with him. Shocker. That they were talking since September. September, right around the time she broke up with him. He wanted to meet with me and show me proof, and honestly was an immature a-hole saying everything proudly, trying to get me upset. Instead of going back and forth with him, I let him know that I didn't need to meet up with him to see any proof. That I would deal with this with her, and I appreciate him letting me know man to man, and that he shouldn't reach out to me again. I then called my girlfriend of 6.5 years, who I viewed as my future, and she confirmed it all. Probably in her mind, it's like, this guy won't let me go, so I'm going to have to do things that are so bad that he just finally gets rid of me. Shocker, she was cheating on him. Now, this is a chicken or the egg situation. Did he become a needy, clingy bitch? That's what he was, because she was cheating or thought she was cheating? Or did she become a cheater because he was a needy, clingy bitch? Who knows? Probably both. She said she was checked out of the relationship. I wouldn't let her leave. And in September, after she told me she was done and we took space for several days, she sent him nude pictures. Met up with him 5 times from September to March. Made out with him 2 times and talked about having you-know-what with him over text. Matching the same energy that he was on, but swore to God he wasn't something she was planning on doing with him. Complete BS. Please. She was getting quite physical with him. Here's the deal. As much as this guy was acting like a mangina, she should have just, when she broke up with him, should have been like, hey, I mean it. We're done. and walked away. Instead, she stayed with him, let him buy her things, and some of you might be thinking, you know what? This idiot deserves to lose his money. Makes him learn, teach him a lesson. I can see where you're coming from there. But if she was a decent person, she would have been done with him. Whoosh, done. Her reasoning was that she was checked out. I read that part. No, I didn't read that part. Her reasoning was that she was checked out of the relationship for over a year. She apologized over and over again as I was in a panic and yelled every insult that came out of my mouth, but most importantly, I kept wanting to know why she would do this to me, even after getting on me for asking for reassurance that while we were in a tough place, she would at least stay loyal considering how many years we've been together. Look, this is the problem that guys have. They think because everything was truly amazing for 4 years that, therefore then, it's always going to be that way. No, it's not. I bet you this guy just got needier, and clingier as time went on. I made her my everything for 6.5 years. Smack! That's a problem. Worked 7 days a week running my family business right out of high school, all through college, just for her to spend half my balance every week. I took care in every single way besides mentally for a short time period because I was also 22, 23. And at that stage, I was trying to figure out college and graduate and worrying about my future. Well, I respect this guy bust his butt. Family business, school, all that. And he's just taking care of the wrong person, but he's buying her affection. That's the dumbest thing you could fucking do as a guy. Well, you know what? He's young. At least hopefully he learns. And it sounds like, in the end, he handles it right. My family knew of her, and her family knew of me, and there was an understanding that one day we would settle down and go about getting married. Knew of him. In all these years, she hasn't introduced him to her family. We're from an Asian country, so our culture works differently than non-Asian people go about relationships. I always respected her and made sure to be there for her. Hear that? I'm from an Asian culture, and it's different, and we go about relationships differently. And yet, strangely, she's behaving like any girl in the West. And he's behaving like any needy, clingy, insecure bitch from the West. Human nature is no different wherever you are on the globe. Or what your culture is, what your religion is. These people don't get that. Oh, it's different over here. No, it's not, asshole. From the day in September she told me she wanted to end it, I took her barely a few days to find another guy. Someone who she admitted was not a good person and complete opposite of the type of guy I am. And she somehow became attracted to him because of his energy. And then she didn't want to date him. She said they both were just messing around. See? He can't figure this out. She's the exact opposite of me. How could that be? Because there's a reason for that. Because the way you're behaving, man. Apologies for making this long post. I don't know what to do anymore, honestly. I'm heartbroken that she did this to me, and I kept replaying every detail she told me, and I keep finding more answers, or more questions. What's hurting me the most is that from the day in September to literally up until the day I found out, she spent my money like there was nothing going on behind my back. She texted as if we were starting to figure things out, and she told me I changed and how proud she was of me. Dude, when she wanted to break up with you, you should have moved on. My first girlfriend dumped me because I was acting like a jackass when I was 16 in 1994, and I wouldn't let it go. I kept pushing, trying to force the relationship. Give me another chance. Guess what? It didn't work, and I acted like a jackass. I learned. Not nearly as bad as this guy, but still. Yeah, she's an asshole. She was using him, cheating on him, all that. She should have walked away permanently and said, no, pal. But she used his money and all that, but he threw it at her. I went to therapy to get understanding how to be better for her and myself. I apologized and sent long paragraphs saying how sorry I was for getting her to a point where she wanted to leave. I took care of her, and I had an honest intentions of showing her I was perfect for her and getting engaged to her by the end of the year. But the whole time from September to March, she was hooking up with this shitty guy who got her attention on Instagram by baiting her to respond to a comment on her Instagram, which he insulted on her. He got her attention on Instagram by insulting her. Typical bad boy asshole type. And so therefore she had to prove him wrong and hook up with him. She remembered him in September right after she decided she didn't want me in her life anymore. Fortunate thing for me is I graduate in 2025 with a business degree in information and decision sciences, and I'm halfway through my MBA as I'm looking for my first corporate career while running my family business of 20 years. I came from a highly educated family who's well respected. I pray I have good success coming my way professionally, but she's 25 and isn't close to being halfway done in her college. Well, she's a loser, but she's been freeloading you off this whole time. She's probably like, why should I finish college? I got this asshole throwing money at me left and right. He's going to marry me and spoil me. But eventually she couldn't take it. She spent her time from age 19 to 25 working on her makeup and finding excuses not to take her life serious while I was taking care of her and trying to get my life together for me and her. Again, why should she make any effort? Because you're taking care of her. You're overly taking care of her. I just wanted to share this because the people in my life are currently saying that she had nothing going for her and would have been financial stress to me, and she knew she was doing and taking advantage of me. Well, she did. The point is her loss. No one that's a decent person would even somewhat successful would want to be with someone like her, and they knew she wasn't a good person for a long time. But honestly, I feel destroyed and betrayed, and I'm stuck in a constant loop of replaying everything, asking more questions. Yesterday, she was apologizing and giving excuses. Oh, look who's back. Guess it's not so easy without this guy's money. I hung up and blocked her. Thank God. Thank the Lord. He's finally learning. I never thought I would ever say this, but I don't ever want to speak to her or see her ever again. Again, thank the Lord. Not after the extreme lying and manipulation. Not to mention her fucking the other guy. Thanks for reading. If you did, I would appreciate no negativity. I rambled a lot due to my current headspace. Dude, you cannot post something like that and not get negativity. In fact, the negativity is the process to help you wake up and realize things. Holy crap. Great. We finally have a good ending here. I bet you never thought that was going to happen. That he finally is done with her. But the thing is, she had to hurt him so bad. He had to be so humiliated and heartbroken for him to wake up and realize she's garbage, get rid of her. But here's the problem. If this guy doesn't learn where he went wrong, he's going to repeat the same cycle with the next girl that gives him attention. And I might add, if he's in his mid-20s and he has a family business and he makes money, he's going on to a promising career, there's going to be girls lining up for him, not because of him, but for what he can provide. They can milk him for it. This guy needs to not make a girl, any girl, his whole reason for living. The end-all be of his existence. That's nuts. Okay, you got to find your own happiness and joy within yourself and what you want to achieve in life. You make a girl your purpose, she's going to make your wallet her purpose. Okay, it's a business deal. She's going to milk you everything it's worth and get rid of you. So bro helps some self-respect. The next girl comes around, you put yourself first. She treats you well, you treat her well. If she backs away, you back away. If she wants to break up with you, you let her break up and say, well, it's been fun, nice knowing you, walk away. You don't beg her, you don't plead, you don't buy her affection. They'll have no respect for you. But I hope he learns. Flip a coin whether he does or not. But anyhow, guys, this is an example of what not to do. Okay? And I might add that, just like I said in the beginning, I did this even though it's painful to hear, it's painful to read, to make this point. I got to do these things on occasion, as much as it kills you guys to hear it, so you understand not to do it. Because I got a lot of guys that watch this for entertainment, but a lot of guys watch this to hear these scenarios to make sure they never do that themselves. Now I'm going to read some comments, and believe me, there's plenty of people giving it to him in the comment section. One guy says here, so, you didn't have any self-respect at all. Hopefully you can now see how giving her whatever she wanted and begging her to stay only made more likely that she'd betray you. It sounds like your therapy has helped you stand up for yourself. Well, I hope it has, but also had him apologizing for suspecting her when he had good reason to suspect her. What you just experienced, it says, is a standard story around the world. If you look back, you'll recognize the slow process of less and less she treated you with respect, and how less and less she truly cared about your well-being, favoring in a selfish, self-centered way of her own. Correct? To be honest, we men need to hold ourselves accountable for this development as much as we should hold our ex-partner. In a way, we teach the partner that it's okay when the partner is taking advantage of us. And the best sign is when we men, like you, does buy expensive gifts when we feel she's being distant, trying to get her attention again. This is like your kid is misbehaving and you reward it with a new toy. Right. You don't reward bad behavior, but so many guys do that. You know? And I believe this guy, like so many guys, they're not in love with these girls that treat them like this. They have an attachment for whatever reason. And usually that comes because they didn't grow up in a loving family. And they want to make up in their own personal relationships what they didn't have and they needed as children growing up. I'm convinced of this. Sadly, we men do not often get through that standing up for ourselves and set clear boundaries and clear communication expectations, how we want to be treated by our partners. It's very, very important to build up a healthy, stable relationship, and if we do, we fear to be called controlling, selfish, to be honest. Yeah, a lot of guys, when they set boundaries, they get labeled controlling, insecure, and they cave because they're pussies. Never, ever apologize or cave for establishing healthy boundaries. Okay, guys? And you have to establish healthy boundaries from the get-go. If you don't, they're going to be taken advantage of. And it isn't just in romantic relationships, it's any relationship you have. But anyhow, there's other comments, but you all get the point. So, something to learn about there, guys. I know it's painful, but in the end, he handled himself well with her. And of course, she came back because she misses the gravy train. How he handles things in the future, we shall see. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.